Good evening, everybody. What's that? Yeah, exactly. Good evening. Adequate notice of this meeting, as required by the Open Public Meetings Act, was provided through the posting, mailing, and filing of the annual notice of regularly scheduled meetings of the Town Council on December 17, 2024. The notice was on that date posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, provided to the Westfield Leader in the Star Ledger, and filed with the clerk of the town of Westfield. Ms. Lushy, may I have a roll call?
Mayor Riddle.
Here.
Councilmembers Hapgood.
Here.
Dardia.
Here.
Domagala. Here. Kiefer. Saunders.
Here.
Armento.
Here.
Contract.
Here.
Healy.
Here.
Please rise for the invocation given by council in contract and remain standing for the salute to the flag.
We seek blessings on the task before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, two comments from me, Mayor. Tonight, just two updates. One, favorite topic, leaf collection, almost over. We are completing our third sequential pass this week, and the last day of collection technically is supposed to be this Saturday. There are some remnant piles and things around town, so we'll do a fourth remnant pass next week, and then leaf collection should be over. Usually a 6-7 week period every year. At least hung on a little longer this year than normal. The weather played a part, but just want to thank Public Works Department, Recreation, or Public Works Director and Assistant Director Craig Gibson and Rich Eubanks, and the DPW staff and Public Information Officer Kim, working with them every day for the updates on leaf collection, where things are, where we are. It's a lot to take this on, and the weather doesn't always help. But another successful season, and I think the changes we made last year to the program have worked well again this year, highlighting some specific streets that have large volumes up front, street sweepers following the crews immediately rather than waiting for weeks, and we've gotten a lot of good comments this year and feedback. So again, that's leaf collection. And second note, bright note, we have, I want to introduce a new member of our team. Dan Hans is our new Recreation Director, started yesterday, so he's really new, hasn't run away yet. And we're excited, Dan. We went through a very long interview process, Heather and I, this year to find what we're hoping is the right person. Dan happens to be a Westfield resident, so I already explained to him how interesting it is to live and work in the town that you or live in the town you work in, but it is also very rewarding and it can be highly successful. So Dan comes to us with many years experience in recreation-related roles, specifically a YMCA background. And I just wanted Dan to come and introduce himself, to say hello, and just so the public and you guys can meet him, for those that haven't already. So, Dan, come on up and say hello.
Good evening, everybody. I'm very honored to be here. Very excited to be here. Jim, you say long, I say diligent process. Very diligent. I am a resident of the town. My wife and I and our 1.5-year-old daughter moved here a little over a year and a half ago. We're very excited to be here. We looked for a long time for a town like this to raise our daughter, so happy to be here, excited to start. It is day 2, so I'm catching up as quick as I can, but happy to hit the ground running and helping wherever I can. So thank you all very much.
Congratulations, welcome.
That's Mayor. We have enough stuff to talk about tonight, so I'm done.
Yeah, we do have a very busy agenda. Good evening, and thank you to everyone joining us tonight for the last town council meeting of the year, and our very last town council meeting for 5 of us on this dais. So we'll have more to talk about that later in the evening. As a reminder, public comment is accepted in person only. And as this is the last meeting for my mayoral term, as well as that for council members Hapgood, Dardia, Contracting, Healy, there will be comments later in the evening, and we do have a fairly busy agenda, being the last meeting of the year, in advance of that. So I'm just going to keep these comments pretty brief. I want to let everybody know the very fun and always community-driven menorah lighting is on Sunday at 5 o'clock on North Avenue train station. Come and celebrate Hanukkah with the Union County Torah Center Shabbat. Always a really fun time, so I hope everybody can make it down there on Sunday evening. And I do want to remind everybody, please support our local businesses. Do your holiday shopping locally when when you can. And remember, very importantly, we're once again offering free parking downtown through January 1st for pay station lots and street meters. But I do want to remind everybody, you still have to limit yourself to the 4 hours or 2 hours, whatever it is. So they will take it if you park there all day. Be sure to check the DWC's website for information on lots of holiday happenings, including I see Dan Togger here, so you can tell us all about it. The Miracle on Elm Street promotion, and there's photos with Santa and free holiday gift wrapping. And also the Recreation Department's annual Holiday Lights Contest. Registration is open through December 10th, and community is going to vote from December 12th through the 25th on the Civic website. And very exciting updates on parking renewals. So they are now going to be available on our recently launched online parking permit system in partnership with ParkVantage. It seems like the daily process that's gone online has been fairly seamless with a few little blips, but pretty good overall. All current permit holders must have an account on the new system in order to process their renewal. The new rates that are effective January 1st will be $776 annually for the Lot 3, which is the main lot, that's up $80, and $460 semi-annually, which is up $40. And there's similar increases for the Watterson Street lot. And these rates, which we approved unanimously last month, they are the first increase in 10 years, with only a $74 total increase since 2004. The new online parking platform also allows residents to have set up an account to purchase daily passes, which are now sold strictly online, and join the wait list for an annual permit and register multiple vehicles on under one permit. One thing that's really convenient for those of you guys who have been on waiting lists, you would always have to call and find out where you were on the waiting list. Now you can check your own status on the waiting list online and see as you move up, which is fantastic. There will be no more window stickers, no paper hang tags. Your license plate is now your permit, which is great. And the deadline to renew annual permits is Wednesday, December 31st. I also want to mention, I know there's been a lot of online discussion about following media coverage about feral cats based upon a conversation at last week's Board of Health meeting regarding an issue in particular on the south side of town. I do want to reiterate for anybody who came here this evening to talk about and give commentary on that, you are of course welcome to speak, but I want to tell you, it's the Board of Health, not the Town Council, that is the governing body that sets policy in this area, so there's no action being considered tonight. Our Regional Health Director, Megan Avalone, she is here tonight, and to say a few words. I'm going to ask her when I finish here to come up and maybe say a few words on that, Megan, if you will. Just to provide some clarity around the board's position on that. Just regarding tonight's agenda, a few highlights. We have a very, very busy agenda and some late starter resolutions that are coming out of the executive session that we just had. I am proud to say that 3 of these resolutions are authorizing me to sign settlements on the challenges filed to our 4th round affordable housing plan, 2 of which were filed by developers and 1 by the Fair Share Housing Commission. Only 1 challenge was regarding development to be included in our plan. Following the anticipated adoption of these resolutions, the town will have a hearing before a judge tomorrow, and we anticipate at that point that our 4th round obligations will be considered fulfilled as one of the first municipalities in the entire state to do so. I'd like to thank this council for their bipartisan support to bring a sensible plan to fruition that meets our state obligations, shields us from related litigation, ensures that 70% of the town remains zoned for single-family residential, and very importantly, helps to address our state's housing crisis. It's fitting that we close this chapter tonight at this last council meeting for my administration, as this was the most important legislation work we have undertaken. The 4th late starter is a resolution that authorizes me to sign a settlement agreement with the Westfield advocates requiring them to dismiss their latest appeal, and it was a request that they had initiated. This most recent appeal was filed regarding the 1 Westfield Place amended redevelopment plan, even after the court ruled in the town's favor all 4 previous times and challenges brought by the advocates. Each time, the judges affirmed the integrity of our process and 1 Westfield Place's consistency with the town's master plan. This is also a fitting conclusion to my administration's time in office, following what has been years of intentional delay tactics from the advocates. I look forward to seeing the incoming Berman administration bring 1 Westfield Place to fruition in delivering its many benefits for Westfield, and glad to have this final litigation behind us. Yes. And then also on tonight's agenda, we have 3 ordinances on second reading following subsequent approvals by the planning board, as well as various administrative resolutions that will be addressed by the committee chairs. And we have our annual resolution authorizing the CFO to draw warrants for the mayor and council members' 2025 annual salary for $1 each. And we can all do our holiday shopping now. And we'll finish this evening with some final remarks from myself and the outgoing officials on this dais as we close out our terms. So with that, for my final time, let's get to work. Ms. Lashy, are there any advertised hearings?
Yes, Mayor, we have 3 advertised hearings tonight,
Whoops.
starting with.
Yeah, sorry, can I interrupt? I totally forgot to get Megan up here. Sorry, Megan. Sorry. Thank you. And thank you, Megan, for being here tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. So I understand there have been numerous public comments about the recent cat trapping that we did on the south side of town. To give you an update, to date, 14 cats have been trapped, and almost all of them have been rehomed. Kittens were adopted out, no problem. The older cats that we have, most of them we found barn homes for them. So people mostly like Warren, Sussex County, that have farms will ask for them there. It's important to remember the cats in this incident were not part of a cat colony, but rather they were fed by local residents without other care, such as spaying and neutering or rabies vaccination. There can be a lot of misunderstanding about the risks involved in feeding a group of cats. I'm a cat lover myself. I've always had cats, and I can completely understand why it seems like trap, neuter, release, TNR, is a really good option. But it's important to remember that cats in New Jersey account for 92% of all rabies cases in domestic animals since 1989. And the health department, our first concern is to keep residents safe, right? And part of the way we do that is by reducing the risk of rabies, because rabies is 100% fatal once symptom starts, which is why that potentially rabid raccoon was such a big deal this summer. TNR does not address the need to document and manage rabies vaccination in these colonies after the initial encounter. And currently, feeding unknown cats is prohibited in the Board of Health Code. We encourage residents not to feed stray cats, just like we encourage residents not to feed other wildlife like raccoons and fox.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, back to that. Sorry. Any advertised hearings, Ms. Lashy?
Yes, Mayor, we have 3 advertised hearings tonight, starting with General Ordinance 2025-23, an ordinance to amend the land use ordinance of the town of Westfield requiring the provision of bicycle parking and establishing standards therefore. Anyone wishing to be heard on General Ordinance 2025-23, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, Mayor, you may close the hearing.
This hearing is closed.
Next is for General Ordinance 2025-24, an ordinance to amend the land use ordinance of the town of Westfield requiring issuance of a zoning permit. Anyone wishing to be heard on General Ordinance 2025-24, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Adam Cohen. I live at 133 Benson Place. So my concern with this ordinance is it just seems that we have language in the ordinance that talks about fire pits. This could be a small portable device. Doesn't have to be a fixture, it doesn't have to be a permanent grounding, but because there's no real language that illustrates this, it can be interpreted in many ways. So I think when we start talking about equipment in a backyard, in what is that deemed a trampoline? Does that block water when you have it covered for the winter? So all of a sudden, to me, it's the language that's in this that leaves it a little bit more murky than anything else. So my concern is taking away the rights that I have as a homeowner to put what I want in my backyard without having to go through a zoning and a permit process. That's really my concern. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Mayor, you may close the hearing.
This hearing is closed.
Last is General Ordinance 2025-25, an ordinance to amend General Ordinance 2024-26 entitled An Ordinance to Amend the Code of the Town of Westfield, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 3, Town Officers and Employees, Division 3, Personnel Positions and Salary Schedule, Section 2, 1228 schedule. Anyone wishing to be heard on general ordinance 2025, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, Mayor, you may close the hearing.
This hearing is closed. Councilman Contract, please move for the adoption of Code Review and Town Property Committee ordinances.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move for the adoption of General Ordinance Number 2025-23, an ordinance to amend the land use ordinance of the Town of Westfield, requiring the provision of bicycle parking and establishing standards thereof.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hopgood. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood,
Yes.
Dardia,
Yes.
Domagala,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Armento. Yes. Contract,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Mayor Brindle.
Yes, this motion is carried.
Next, I'd like to move for the adoption of General Ordinance Number 2025-24, an ordinance to amend the land use ordinance of the Town of Westfield, requiring issuance of a zoning permit.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Dardia. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Sure.
Mike?
Is that Councilman Armento?
Yeah, sorry I couldn't make it there tonight, I'm under the weather. And one of the concerns I have, which I mentioned previously, is, and I know Mr. Gilday addressed this, is that we had said that the permits would be approved within 10 days. I really think that that needs to be tracked. I think it'd be unfair to residents if there was a delayed process and people are waiting to do a small project for weeks on end. So I really think there needs to be a mechanism for a six-month review of if the process is working. And I was originally against this when it first came out. As Mr. Cohen said, I was very concerned about overregulation. And I know we have the ability to change ordinances, and I think we should, see how this goes. But I am concerned about the overregulation and minutia of that's on people's property. I know ultimately it's benefiting water drainage, but I was very concerned about this overregulation. So I think the two areas of concern, I think we should, will be addressed in 6 months. We'll review this and make sure it's being done in a timely manner. And then if there are issues, I think we should revisit the ordinance if it is becoming too onerous for residents. That's my comment.
Thank you. Councilman Healy?
Dave, you want to talk?
Hey, go ahead.
Okay. Adam, thank you very much for your comments and your memos. The things that you talked about and made specifics were talked about by the council members going through the committee process. And I have great reservations about this along the lines that you've talked about. Small things, like you buy a sandbox for your child at Home Depot. You just want to go out on the weekend. Okay, let's get a basketball hoop. There's many small things of that type. You mentioned trampolines. I'm not a big trampoline fan, but there's trampolines about this big. Does that cover? I think what's going to happen, assuming this ordinance passes, which I think the votes are there to do that, is that people will go ahead and buy those things, and no one will even know until somebody objects, which is what happens now. If somebody objects to something, then the zoning ordinances, the zoning people go out, check it out, and they can knock you out. This is an attempt to get a pre-approval, so to speak. But I am concerned that Adam raised these small little things, and obviously, David's, my councilman contract, his push for this, which is very admirable, is all about trying to avoid neighbors encroaching on other neighbors' property, flooding problems, which are very real. If somebody does a massive development or even a non-massive development, they can drift over and cause problems for neighbors. That's the genesis of this. So as we've said all along, there's good ups and downs on this proposal. So for tonight, I think I'm going to vote no. David?
I mean, listen, this comes out of, I think, all of our collective experience, where everything was fine in people's backyards until it wasn't, when a neighbor did something. There's also, all of us have experienced, sadly, when a neighbor or somebody in your ward invests in a project on their backyard, only to find out it caused issues, and the town forced them to undo it. So what we're trying to do is, from a smart regulation perspective, like actually match what other towns do, which is to manage these projects, get approval ahead of time, to avoid residents losing money, to avoid residents and neighbors causing problems for other neighbors. Adam, you bring up some good points, as do my fellow councilman. I think every ordinance that passes, if it passes, should be looked at. Absolutely, right? You know, we're trying something new. You know, my expectation is it will work well. If it doesn't, it can get changed. So I think that's up to the next council as well as the administration to review it. I think 6 months is a reasonable time frame. Jim, I think the only request is, you know, as specific as we can to guide residents on what's covered and what's not covered, I think will be the guidance, Adam, that you're looking for. The goal here is not to require a zoning permit for a little 3-foot diameter trampoline that your toddler uses. This is designed for projects that remove pervious coverage and pervious surface in your backyard that really generates the stormwater displacement, which causes the neighbor issues. So to the extent we can, Don and Jim, to be very clear on what's covered under the different banners, I think that provides the guidance that residents are seeking, the clarity, Adam, that you're asking for, which I think is very reasonable. And let's do that. And again, you know, for the council, for Councilman Saunders and Domagala and Armento, and whoever sits on the code committee, take a look at it in, you know, in 6 months and make revisions as necessary.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that I was on the side of Councilman Healy at first. I think understanding what we're trying to go ahead and do, and then also the request of the group that's going to be enforcing the zoning and saying that up front they can take care of a lot of the problems or disagreements or issues that neighbors might have with each other is a longer term benefit, which is why I'm going to end up voting yes in this particular case to go ahead and give a different approach a try. I think that we've done it one way for so long. We've had so many issues come back. We want to go ahead and avoid any litigation between neighbors or problems that they have to go ahead and solve themselves or involving lawyers. If we can go ahead and get ahead of all of that, maybe we can go ahead and stem off some of those problems and not have to go and revisit 2 and 3 times to go ahead and recheck and then have potentially neighbors go ahead and have to remove different pieces of their property to go ahead and have this work. So it's okay that we're on the opposite sides of things, but we saw it very similarly through the whole process, and we're just at different places at this point. So,
And I do think you raise a good point. This is something that our staff requested in terms of building and planning to avoid problems. And also the point on permit fees are actually lowering in many cases. So it's a $25 permit fee. So this isn't something like it's a revenue grab by the town. And some of the existing fees are actually going down as a result, so.
Yeah, I think one other thing to add, besides the staff really asking us for this, it's modeled after what other towns have been doing for years. So I know our building department head comes from Somerset. They've had this for a while. I think our assistant zoning officer has experience in another town as well. So we have modeled this after what's working successfully in other towns. We're not creating this from scratch.
Okay,
I
so,
agree with that, you know, what everyone said. I do think it's the smaller projects. I think the bigger projects are captured. It's the smaller projects, as you mentioned, 3 by 4, 4 by 5, that may not even be fully on the ground. And I think that's where clarity is essential for the residents. And that may be the point that we have to revisit in 6 months. Maybe that the wording needs to be redone. But I think it's important that we don't just go after residents for little stuff that's not going to have a big impact on water runoff. I will vote yes. But with the provision that 6 months from now, we revisit this on the code committee, and, you know, we have the data, finding out about the timeline.
yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I just, Councilman Armento, we discussed it previously, the 6-month thing, absolutely. We'll bring it back to the Code Review and Town Property Committee, whoever's on that committee next year. And I think, as I've indicated, Mr. Cohen and the members of the council, a lot of these details, which are, the ordinance is a very broad program, and then the application itself that is issued for residents to complete will have the details there. And we can obviously adapt that, and if we need to, we can amend the ordinance if necessary. But again, I think Councilman Contract's right. We didn't create this from scratch. This is something many municipalities do. We're trying to do this here, and we have staff that has done this in other municipalities very successfully, and we're trying to limit the damage and the headaches the residents have when they find out something has been put in and has to be ripped out at a later time. And we've seen a lot of that, and in addition to the stormwater regulations. So happy to review it in 6 months. That's a great suggestion. Bring it back to code review, and if we have to adapt, we definitely can.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I ask a quick
Sure.
question? And Jim, did we look at like a minimum square footage? Because it seems like this is about smaller things and we're kind of talking about two separate things. Like, can we look at like a minimum or minimum square footage at which this applies to so that it's
It's
pretty
actually,
clear?
yeah, it was part of, a large part of the discussion in the committee. It's actually in the ordinance, there's 200 square foot issues and then there's smaller things. The application is going to address all those things. That was discussed quite a bit in the committee. Yeah. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anything else? Okay, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood,
Yes.
Dardia,
Yes.
Domagala,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Armento,
yes,
Contract,
Yes.
Healy,
No.
Mayor Brindle.
Yes, this motion is carried. Councilman Hapgood, please move for the adoption of General Ordinance Number 2025-25.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move for the adoption of General Ordinance Number 2025-25, an ordinance to amend the General Ordinance of Number 2024-26 entitled, An Ordinance to Amend the Code of the Town of Westfield, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 3, Town Officers and Employees, Division 3, Personnel Positions and Salary Schedule, Section 2-12.28 Schedule.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Contract. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood,
Yes.
Dardia,
Yes.
Domagala,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Armento,
yes,
Contract,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Mayor Brindle.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the Town Council executive sessions held March 11th, September 9th, and September 30th, October 28th, 2025, and Town Council and conference and regular meetings of November 25th, 2025?
Second.
So moved by Councilman Saunders, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dardia. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. Now it's time for open discussion by citizens. Anyone may come up to the microphone and speak to the council on any subject on which we have jurisdiction. Please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please.
Good evening, everybody. First and foremost, I would really, I'm Brad Shinani, 239 Avon Road, 36-year resident of Westfield. First and foremost, I would truly love to thank everybody on the stage for all that they do for the town of Westfield. It's always easy to talk, yes. It's always very easy to comment from the cheap seats, but when you put yourself out there and you work as hard as this group does, it truly, truly should be appreciated because you do what you do for our town. So thank you. Happy holiday to all also. Yeah, my hope is that everybody truly, truly appreciates everything that you do. You know, for my first maybe 18 or 20 years living in town, people didn't even know who their council people were. Maybe they knew 1 or 2 people on the council. Some of them didn't even know who the mayor was. The more you do, the more you're out there. And I will tell you, as somebody who has been pretty closely involved with most of you for the past 8 years, especially this group that's leaving, to Mayor Brindle, to David, to Linda, to Michael, to James, and also to Dawn, who I know is here tonight. I can't thank you enough for what you have done and what you have given to the town of Westfield. It truly, truly is special. The things that you've started, and I'll get into one of those in a second, but it truly, truly should be appreciated by all. 8 years ago, when David was running for office and knocking on doors, he came to my house, and one of the conversations that we had was, hey, David, I just don't think we do enough for the seniors in town. And for the people whose kids graduate, they're out of the school system, they're gone. And he said, you know, funny you bring that up. Shelley and I have spoken about that. Well, 8 years later, we had started the Mayor's Senior Advisory Council, which later became Lifelong Westfield, which has been supported tremendously by this council. And I can't thank you enough for myself and for the seniors of Westfield for all that you've done. You know, I know most people here do know who we are and what we do, but It is very near and dear to us, and I can't thank you enough. And that also includes the fire department, the police department, the rec department, the health department, because everybody here gives their all, and it truly, truly shows. So the reason I came here tonight was from the bottom of my heart to thank you all for everything that you have done for the seniors and for the town of Westfield. So thank you.
And Brad, it goes without saying, lifelong Westfield would not be what it is without you. For those of you that don't know, Brad has been the co-chair for the last 8 years and really helped make lifelong what it is. And I'm not going to say anything more because I'll have something to say about it later. But thank you, Brad, and Deirdre, who's the other co-chair.
Hi, Marcy Bandelli, 209 Tuttle Parkway. I'll be brief. I want to thank Mayor Brindle and Councilman Contract and Councilman Healy and Councilwoman Linda Hapgood, Councilman Dardia, for this 8-year journey of greatness in Westfield. I also want to thank Dawn Mackey. Where is she? I know she is very missed. But I don't know which, like, there's been so many things in Westfield that you all have done. Just keeping our heads afloat during COVID and Adams Fest and keeping our downtown vibrant, especially during COVID. I mean, it was just only 5 years ago, but man, you guys worked so hard. I just thank you for your commitment to the town, your transparency. And I know that that has become like a ridiculous word these days, but you really are a very transparent administration. I mean, I've never seen anything like it before. The fact that we have council meetings online that anybody could tune into, it's just amazing. And I'm just here to say thank you, and I'm going to miss you all. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Marcy.
Hi, Rupa Motwani, 772 Prospect Street. Whew. Mayor Brindle, I recently recalled the first time that I ever saw you. It was in these chambers, 2016, 2017, I can't remember. Unknown to each other, we had shown up at the same council meeting to see what was the what here. And as I watched the meeting, I saw you get up, address the council, and say, residents are very busy and they don't have time to find information about the town's services and resources. And I think the town should push information out. I would like to offer my time and energy and efforts to help you do that. And then you were summarily dismissed by that council, which that moment sparked your run for office, in which led you to actually offer your time and efforts and energy for the last 8 years for the betterment of this town. So thank you for that. Each of you on this dais that is about to step down, Councilman Dardia, Councilman Contract, Councilman Healy, Councilwoman Hapgood, and Mayor Brindle, you stepped into public service, and I know this because I am intimately involved with your campaigns, with the work that you do. You stepped into public service asking, how can I use my experiences, my learnings, my curiosity, and my imagination to improve this town for the residents for generations to come? And you answered that question repeatedly over the last 8 years. Can we get utility companies to share the cost of road paving? Turns out you can. Would residents embrace a free market? They did. Can we work with local foundations to get grants to our small businesses during COVID before the federal aid hits? You could, and you did. Longtime residents may forget, and new residents may not know, that before you took your oaths to serve, there was no open call for residents to serve on boards and commissions. There was no lifelong Westfield to center and support our seniors. There was no pride flag raising to signal to vulnerable populations that they were welcome here. And there was no public budget meeting inviting residents into the process. So yes, like Marcy said, transparency has now become a word that means nothing, but you guys were some of the first who centered it and really meant it. You brought not just vision, but the will to follow through. You didn't come here to do only what was easy and comfortable and fun, though you did do a lot of that. But what you understood was that real progress requires stepping into what's uncomfortable and difficult. And your accomplishments speak for themselves, representing perhaps one of the most impactful administrations that the town has known in its 300-year history. So I just wanted to thank you all for your service, for your blood, sweat, and tears. Congratulations on a job well done.
Hello, Skylar Quackenbush, 74.
And Lisa Quackenbush.
Can we do a duo? 744 Tamaqua Way. I would like to thank the mayor and the council as the year closes for their good work in moving Westfield forward. But particularly, I want to recognize Mayor Shelley Brindle and council members Linda Hapgood, David Contract, Michael Dardia, and I don't want to leave out Dawn Mackey and now Jim Healy, who are the outgoing members of the council. They've served us in good stead. We will miss them. And I want to acknowledge how much I value their service, and also acknowledge that through your efforts, you've brought Westfield to be a much more vibrant town. And so, thank you very much.
And I'd like to add the joy that you brought. This town has transformed with things like Gay Rights March that we do every year, the Addams Family activities, the incredible amount of artwork that's everywhere. So thank you for bringing not only the vibrancy and the fiscal responsibility, but also the joy to Westfield.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Liz Mulholland, 1029 Harding Street. I'm going to have to read because I don't want to cry. You guys have been amazing, and watching this council over the past 8 years it's been fantastic. So I'm going to read from my phone so I don't get emotional here. I'd like to start by saying thank you all for your dedication, professionalism, and diligence for these past 8 years. You've met the goals you've set forth, a rare and near impossible feat for most elected officials, but not surprising given the work ethic and caliber of this body. Your focus was and always has been leaving Westfield a better place than where it was, and you resoundingly did exactly that. First, thank you for your leadership, which fostered a strong community and ushered us through the pandemic. Your accomplishments are astounding, including bringing the town into a fully automated system, live streaming meetings, radically changing the systems to provide convenience to the residents. I mean, who doesn't remember waiting outside online for pool passes? From paving nearly all the roads in 8 years, primarily funded by utilities, to numerous 0% tax increases, something no other council in the history of Westfield was able to achieve. Upgrading parks and Memorial Pool, spurring investment in Westfield, leading to a vibrant downtown, bringing the first ice rink for players and residents to enjoy, leading to a state champion hockey team, providing ADA-compliant parks, yoga on Quimby, and let's not forget Adams Fest and the beer garden. How much fun is that? And let's not forget all of the other festivities that go along with Adams Fest. The policies you've set forth will live on to provide support and protection of our wonderful town. The list of accomplishments are too long for one session and certainly for 5 minutes. I wish you all well in your retirement from public office and thank you for your patience, professionalism, and service. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Lisa O'Dwyer, 20 South Wickham Drive. I wasn't going to speak, but who am I fooling? There's a microphone. So, Shelley and the core four and from 8 years ago and Dawn, you came to us and sacrificed your time and your treasures for this town and for my friends that literally became lifelong friends, and that fateful time of November 2016. And then you came in and gave us the privilege of campaigning for you and listening to what you were going to do to this town and the attention you were going to give to the people and the transparency and parties and just sticking through this through thick and thin to make this town a progressive town for all the people, the elderly, the kids, the all-inclusive of all races, Adams Fest, just everything you have done. It's amazing that you've sacrificed your time for $1, and it was a privilege to campaign for you and support you and just to be your friends over these years. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Greg Casco, Scotch Plains, formerly a 53-year resident of Westfield. I'm here tonight in support of the administration that came into office back in 2017. 2 speakers ago, Liz Mulholland was the one that connected me with this group of people, and I am truly grateful for that. Not only did we get a great administration and mayor, council people, but I gained lifelong friends. In 2017, when you were running for office, I crossed party lines to vote for the slate. I campaigned for David Contract in Ward 3. Again, in 2021, I believe it was, I was in support of your campaign again. I can't express how grateful I am to see the changes that Westfield went through during this administration. You gave me and others a voice. You listened. And you implemented things that we suggested. And I didn't get that from the previous administration. When you ran in 2017, I had asked.
Oh no, I'm scared.
I'd asked for this.
I don't even have one of those, Greg. So.
I think Rupa pulled some strings. I hung that proudly from my front porch, both times you ran. So I want to give it back to you. I don't believe you'll be running for office in my home away from home in the Caribbean, but if you do, I'll ask for it back. All right. Thank you very much for everybody on this council, including those that will remain. You have some big shoes to fill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Brindle, members of the council. My name is Sharon Stockwell. I reside at 100 Nelson Place for the last 23 and a half years. I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to Mayor Brindle, to Linda, to Mike, to Dawn, to Jim Healy for all of your time, treasure, talents, and sacrifice over the last 8 years. It has been my privilege to know each of you and to also call you my friend. Many people have said many, many things tonight, and I don't want to repeat them, but they are all very, very valid. Someone once said that the measure of success is that you leave a place better than you found it. And I think in this case, that is an absolute, definite, sure thing that you have left Westfield better than you found it. There are many things that you have improved over the years, and some of the things that I most appreciate and am very thankful for are things like safety. You have provided us with a lot of safety measures over the past years, whether it was through the storms or whether it was during COVID, whether it was other things. You've kept us safe during the good times and during the bad times. You've always looked for whatever the best practices are. If there was something that needed to be changed, you always did the research. You never reinvented the wheel. You looked to see what other people were doing, and you adopted what best practices were. And I think that was very evident tonight in the way that you were working on the ordinance about the additional structures that people may have in their backyard. The second thing that I am very appreciative about is the finance stability that we have always had in Westfield. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everyone that has always worked on the Finance Committee. When I tell people that don't live in Westfield that we've not had a tax increase in the last 3 years, Linda, they don't believe me. And I told them, you know, really, we have such an incredible Finance Committee who has kept us stable even through the COVID times. We are very, very fortunate. The other thing that I'm very appreciative for your improvements is communication. We really know what's going on in Westfield from the updates, newsletters that you have sent out, Shelley, and the improved services in all of the different departments. You know, the C-Click, DPW, and now the improvements to the Recreation Department and also the Parking Department as well. I wish all of you the very best in your in the next chapter of your lives, and I know that you will be happy, and I know that you will be successful in anything that you choose to do. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for Westfield, for our families, and for myself.
Thank you, Sharon.
Hi, good evening. I'm Elizabeth Talmont. My address is 713 4th Avenue in Westfield. And I've been proud to serve on the Board of Health since 2017 and as the president since 2021. And if you all want to come to a Board of Health meeting during COVID, it's not to be missed. I do want to thank Megan as our stalwart leader, but I really want to thank all of you. Most importantly, Shelley, Linda, Michael, James, David, certainly Dawn as well, for your commitment. And I want to highlight one particular thing about mental health. Mental health is not a bipartisan issue. It strikes everyone, and the fact that you underscored it and you leaned in hard to reduce that stigma, it speaks to your leadership. I wish you an embarrassment of riches in your retirement from public life, but I do want to say, like all transformational leaders and transformational teams that spoke up and stood in when the times were tough, your impact will be a legacy that you will see for years after you're gone from office. So it's not over, folks. But thank you for setting that mark and meeting the moment when it was there. So thank you on behalf of the Board of Health and myself personally.
Hi, Jen Gilman, 1750 Florida Street. I'm going to be much shorter than everybody else, but that means or is no reflection on the amount of gratitude that I have for all of you. Thank you for your time, your service, your dedication, your example. I said it a lot at the door. I have big shoes to fill. Councilman Contract, thank you. Thank you for being an amazing example of an elected official who listens to constituents and brings their concerns to the forefront and takes action on them. And that was really true with everything you all did. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to learn and serve and come to this point. So just thank you so much. And again, well-deserved rest, I hope, but thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman-elect. Yeah. Oh, no. Props. Oh, no.
Hi, my name is Gary Mandelblatt, 730 Lawrence Avenue. I also perform a magic show at 16 Prospect. I hope you all come. I'm here tonight to thank you for your service. For the last 8 years, Mayor Brindle, Councilwoman Habgood, Michael Dardia, Councilman Contract, and Jim, who really knows how many years you've been here. I do also want to thank Councilman Sanders and Councilman Damagallo, Armento on the phone, and Kiefer, who's not here, because face it, you all stepped up and you're serving our community, and thank you too. I think it's impressive what's gone on in the last 8 years. You revitalized our downtown, even when we don't think about that part, but it's amazing what's happened. Our roads are so much better, and you had the leadership and foresight to come up with a plan for the closed Lord and Taylor and build one Westfield Place, or lead to that, which was finally resolved today. So that is incredible. I think it's going to be awesome. So to show my appreciation, I prepared a little presentation for you. Not everybody's here, but I brought some cards. These cards I printed out. They're pictures from around Westfield, from around the world. And I'm just going to ask Kim, would you please tell me when to stop? Sarah, would you take that card? That's the first one. I'm going to try to put you. One for you and one for you. I'll come over here. Councilman Contract. Let's see. Would you please just tell me when to stop? Click, click. I'm running out of time. Right there. Councilman Saunders, would you take that one? And Katie, I'm going to ask you to take this one. We could probably give you a few more minutes.
Yeah, I'll give you a minute or so, actually. Since it's participatory.
We've never had a magic show. I'm getting old. This is killing me. Let's see. Councilman Abdu, would you please just tell me when to stop? Stop. Right there. Would you take that one? Mayor, would you take that one? Councilman Keeler, would you take that one? Now, I'd like you to take a look at those cards. I'd like you to look at the images. Some of them I said are Westfield, some aren't. And what I want you to do is when I say now, please send those images to me. Okay?
You mean telepathically?
Telepathically. Don't say it out loud. Okay, now. Oh, jeez. That was a lot of images. That's a lot of opinions. How do you guys get anything done? I think I'm getting one over here. A metal, steel. Does that make any sense to you? A wrench? It is. A wrench, yes. Okay, we got the first one. Here, let me just write this down. I think coming over here, it's another metal. It's like it's like the steeple from the Presbyterian, no, it's the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower, okay. Okay, let's see, oh, Councilman Healy, you have something tall too, it's a family show. It's a lighthouse. Yes, from the Jersey Shore. Okay, Councilwoman Hackman, you have something really tall too, something tall and strong, just like you. And you love a tree. Do you have a tree? I do. A tree. Okay, almost there. Let's see, who am I missing? Mayor, I'm getting nothing from you yet. Oh, wait,
You're not the
wait.
first.
You have something like a door handle? Door, okay, door. Councilman Contractor, are you changing sides? Did you get the elephant? I did. No. Okay, still nothing for you, Mayor, but let's see what we got. So far, we got Westfield. Wait, Councilman Healy, if you look at your card, what capital letter does the lighthouse look like?
What capital letter does the White House look like?
The lighthouse.
An I?
An I, okay. We're getting there. We've got yield. Okay, we've got the tree. We got W. We got E. Wait, flamingo. Flamingo. Left there. Oh, wait. If you look at the flamingo and you look at the shape of the neck, is that what letter is it? An S. Great. So we got West yield.
And summarized.
But we're still missing yours, Mayor. But you didn't get a photograph. You got a picture, like a picture card. You got the Queen of Hearts.
I sure did.
Oh, the Queen. But you see, that's a problem. Because we still have West. But like you've always done, you've always kept our town together, you've always made it complete. When I predicted it, the Queen.
You are too cute. Thank you. Oh my God. That's so funny.
How do you capture this in the minutes?
That's why we were wondering how more. We were wondering, Maureen, you got all that, right? You got it all. Well, I don't know how you top that, so,
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, good job.
that is so funny. Speaking of queens. Yeah.
Dawn Mackey, 1778 Fernwood Lane, Plainfield. I could not let this night go by without coming here one last time to say it was my privilege to serve the people of Westfield and my honor to serve alongside these people on the dais. I have had the back behind the scenes view of what goes on. And I can say that you have always served, each of you, from a place of what you believe to absolutely be in the best interests of our residents. You have served with integrity, tenacity, vision, and bravery. Mayor Brindle, I remember you said you ran because you saw complacency in our downtown. Rest assured, no one is ever going to accuse you of that. 8 years later, along with a world-class set of employees, incredible, robust volunteers, you have left this town better than you found it. I wish you much success and fun in the future, and all the best to the sitting council and the incoming council. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Good evening. I'm Delia Collins, Clark, New Jersey. I hate to be Debbie Downer, but I'm going to bring up the issue regarding the feral cats. And can I do that at this time?
You can. As I just said, that's not a policy that's driven by the council, and I would suggest you'd be better served going to the Board of Health meeting. But we could certainly. You're not a resident of Westfield, is that correct?
No, of Union County.
So of Clark, you said?
Yes.
So you could talk briefly, but I would suggest you'd be better served talking to the Board of Health. We don't set policy, and as you've heard, 5 of us are leaving and won't even be.
No, I know, you wrote to me, and I understand that. But I wanted to make sure that you understand that TNR is the way of 2025, and we would hope that Westfield would consider that. And this is one of the ways to get to the people in Westfield versus going on social media and Facebook. It's to come to a meeting like this and get it out. I'm sure these are televised, and hopefully the Westfield leader will be making a report.
And just to tell you, our Board of Health meetings, the press is also at our Board of Health meetings.
Yes,
and so
that's why
that
I
word
came.
gets out there too.
Okay. Just to let you know, the townships and the municipalities of Plainfield, Clark, Roselle Park, Kenilworth, and Rahway have TNR. In 2018, the County of Union passed a resolution 2018-16 supporting TNR. And I hope that the residents and the future mayor and council people of Westfield would come to some type of meeting of the minds that TNR is the way to go in 2026. Essex County offers TNR to the residents. The Woodbridge Township just passed a resolution for TNR. Plainfield offered the TNR program $25,000. And also, just so you know, under the Union County Prosecutors information sheet, animal cruelty, which is what is happening in Westfield, with them not feeding the cats, leaving them outside in probably cages. I would like to know, how would I obtain information regarding the disposition of this 14 cats that they trapped, also where the traps were laid, and how long these animals were left in the traps. I guess I would have to, is the Board of Health something that can be Oprah'd, or does it have to go through the township?
This is just comment, this isn't Q&A, and I would just.
No, I'm just asking a question.
No, and I'm not in a position to answer that. I'd say make your comments, and you can speak to our administrator when we're done, and he can tell you what the process is. Thank you.
Okay, and it is against the law to not feed these animals like they want to happen.
Thank you.
Hi, Adam Cohen, 133 Benson Place. I'm the newest resident of this town by a mile. I moved here 2 years and a couple of months ago. So I want to say a deep appreciation to the council members that are now leaving and the council members that are still staying, because I was welcomed into this town. And I really feel part of the community because of the welcoming that the council members gave at different events, different activities, having things like Adams Fests, and the great communication that the town does put out. So I want to just say thank you all for your leadership and your time. And I know it's a lot of time, and so thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Okay. And hearing no other comments, I close this portion of the meeting and move to bills and claims. Councilman Hapgood.
Back to business, Mayor. Thank you. I'd like to move bills and claims in the amount of $813,687.92.
May I have a second? Second. Second by Councilman Contract. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. Next is reports to standing committees, beginning with the Finance Policy Committee. Councilman Hapgood.
Thank you again, Mayor. I have 23 resolutions, 22 of which I'd like to move as a package. I'll try to get through this quickly because we still have a lot of meeting left tonight. The first, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw a warrant to replenish the postage meter. 2, a resolution authorizing the CFO to refund Recreation Department fees. 3, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw a warrant for dog licenses for November 2025. 4, a resolution authorizing the tax collector to cancel sewer fee and delinquent tax balances for 2025. 5, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw warrants for overpaid taxes. 6, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw warrants for overpaid taxes due to veteran and senior citizen deductions for 2025. 7, a resolution authorizing the CFO to authorize 2026 debt service. 8, a resolution authorizing the CFO to cancel accounts payable. 9, a resolution authorizing the CFO to set up accounts payable. 10, a resolution authorizing the CFO to cancel outstanding checks. 11, a resolution authorizing the CFO to sign bi-weekly warrants for the 2026 Police PBA employee salaries effective January 1st, 2026. 12, a resolution authorizing the CFO to sign bi-weekly warrants for the 2026 Police SOA employee salaries effective January 1st, 2026. 13, a resolution authorizing the CFO to sign bi-weekly warrants for the 2026 Teamster employee salaries effective January 1st, 2026. 14, a resolution authorizing the CFO to sign bi-weekly warrants for the 2026 non-union employee salaries effective January 1st, 2026. 15, a resolution authorizing the CFO to sign bi-weekly warrants for the non-union library employee salaries effective January 1st, 2026. 16, a resolution authorizing the CFO to sign bi-weekly warrants for the CWA library employee salaries effective January 1st, 2026. 17, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw warrants for the mayor and council annual salaries for the year 2025, our last year. Resolution to approve 2026 Westfield Memorial Pool membership rates. 19, a resolution authorizing an affordability assistance grant pursuant to the Town of Westfield's Affordability Assistance Program for a tenant of an affordable housing unit at 2301 Echo Lane, Unit 2301. 20, a resolution to approve insertion of special item of revenue for the National Opioid Settlement. 21, a resolution authorizing the CFO to pay December bills and claims. 22, a resolution authorizing the CFO to make transfers of appropriation for bills and claims.
May I have a second? Second. Second by Councilman Domagala. All in favor or any opposed? This motion has carried.
I would also like to move a resolution to make a budget transfer.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Saunders. Any discussion? Please call the roll. Councilmembers Hapgood?
Yes.
Guardia?
Yes.
Domagala?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Armento?
Yeah.
Contract?
Yes.
Keeley?
Yes.
Mayor Brindle? Yes, this motion is carried. Next up, Public Safety Transportation Parking Committee, Councilman Dardio.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to move a resolution appointing a medical director for the Westfield Police and Fire Departments.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hapgood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. Code Review and Town Property Committee, Councilman Contract.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 6 resolutions, 2 of which to move as a package. The first is a resolution setting the date for the Town Council 2026 organizational meeting, and for the residents to know, that's January 6th. And the second is a resolution setting the 2026 Town Council meeting dates.
May I have a second? Second. Second by Councilman Domagala. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried.
Next, I'd like to move a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a settlement agreement with the Westfield Advocates.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll. Councilmembers Hapgood?
Yes.
Dardia?
Yes.
Domagala?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Armento? Contract?
Yes.
Healy?
Yes.
Mayor Brindle?
Yes, this motion is carried. Hallelujah.
Yes. I'd like to move, next, I'd like to move a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a settlement agreement with the Fair Share Housing Center.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Saunders. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hagan?
Yes.
Dardier?
Yes.
Domagala?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Armento? Contract?
Yes.
Healy?
Yes.
Mayor Brindle?
Yes, this motion is carried.
Next, I'd like to move a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a settlement agreement with 322 Walnut.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Domagala. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hagan?
Yes.
Dardier?
Yes.
Domagala?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Armento?
Yes.
Contract?
Yes.
Healy?
Yes.
Mayor Brindle?
Yes, this motion is carried.
Lastly, I'd like to move a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a settlement agreement with Toll Brothers.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Saunders. Any discussion?
Discussion. These last 4 resolutions, including the one we're discussing now, has to do with the very important long-term settlement of our fair share housing obligations. And believe it or not, this is probably among the 1 or 2, 3 important pieces of resolutions and decisions that we make as a town council. So I'm going to take a little time with it. I hope you'll allow that. When I was in law school in the late 70s, a decision came down from the New Jersey Supreme Court that says you can't have an effective zoning ordinance unless you allow for a reasonable amount of housing alternatives. That was called the Mount Laurel decision. After law school, ultimately, I started a practice and then was elected to the town council beginning in 1985 and served for a little under 12 full years. I could not make any headway with my colleagues on what are we going to do to have a reasonable amount of alternative housing, because young people couldn't get into town and older people couldn't stay in town. As I said, and Westfield was not alone, pretty much a stone wall, and that was pretty much around the country, around the state. But then builders recognized what the Mount Laurel decision meant, which is they could bring litigation called builders' remedy lawsuits against towns that did not have a reasonable amount of alternative housing. And they got sophisticated. And Westfield slowly, over time, began to get hit with builders' remedy lawsuits. And I could tell you where those places are that took place over time. But Westfield pretty much was, we don't have to do anything. I can remember a town attorney telling me, we don't have any obligations. We're all built up. And a councilman telling me, that nursery on Springfield Avenue, they'll never sell that. They'll never sell that. Well, that is probably the most inappropriate large housing that we have because it's just not in town. It's going to create traffic problems. But that was as a result of the builder's remedy threat. At the end of Andy Skibinski's administration, they finally began to take heed of the responsibilities that we have, and we started to see a few multifamily units go up, for example, on the traffic circle on the south side, also at the end of Railway Avenue and Broad Street, and along South Avenue. That was as a result of Andy Skibitsky and the council going along and making a decision to make some accommodations in that regard. Mayor Brindle gets elected, and she educates herself about this obligation. And her attitude was, why are we fighting this? We can do this. We can make the town affordable for some people, we can have a reasonable amount of alternatives. And that began opposition. And believe me, there's opposition to this Mount Laurel. And just go to Mountainside and find out about opposition, or Summit where there's opposition. But in 2024, last year, this legislature finally came to grips seriously with how towns could avoid the threat of builders' remedy lawsuits. If they took the time to make an effective plan, they could be exempted from that and do their own planning as long as they had a reasonable amount of affordable housing. And when I was named to the town council in 2024, Mayor Brindle, insightful as she is, says, hey, Councilman Healy, I want you to lead a new committee, the housing committee. And of course, I knew quite a bit about Mount Laurel as a judge. I had actually handled some Mount Laurel matters in court. But what was really impressive are two things to me. One is the town staff, the administrator, the planning staff, really took the time to educate us about what we could do to make this work so that we could have preservation of all single-family zones, put the affordable and multifamily units along the railroad tracks and in town, and we could do it. And what was, again, that's the first thing that impressed me. And the second thing was my Republican colleagues who served on the committee, Mike Domagala, Todd Saunders, they took the time to educate themselves and not fight this, but let's see how we can do it. And that's how the council as a whole came to the unanimous decision to come up with a plan that has now been submitted to the court system, and these resolutions settling all outstanding issues are going to be put before a judge who's going to sign off it, and we will have a zoning plan that'll be controlled by our town, our planning board, our zoning board, and the town council, that will free ourselves from any builder's remedy lawsuits, will preserve every single-family zone. This is a huge achievement. This lasts for 10 years. And as Mayor Brindle said earlier, this is one of the first towns of 560 towns in New Jersey that's got this. And I actually coincidentally heard the judge who's controlling the mediation process say immediately that when Westfield submitted its plan, it was a real plan, and he was ready to go for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. And I'll just reiterate my thanks to the full council. It is a remarkable achievement, what we've done here in Westfield unanimously. I think we are a model for not only in the state but across the country of how you can achieve and help solve the affordable housing crisis while also doing right by your community. And I think this is a great example of that. So thanks to everybody who served on the committee, thanks to the council, and thanks to your leadership on this, Councilman.
I'm out of breath.
So you did great. So with that, please call the roll. Oh wait, is there more? Did you have more?
I'm sorry, I got mixed up. We're still doing the resolutions.
Yeah.
The last resolution.
That was the
Thank you.
discussion part.
Yep,
So we're
got
on
it.
the roll.
Got it.
We're taking the vote now.
And my wife's here to see this.
Oh, wait, Councilman Domagala, I'm sorry.
I appreciate all of your good words. Although it's going to sound strange when I say the word out loud, I must abstain from this particular property. It's through no course of action except for a connection from my work and the property that exists at this spot. So.
Got it. Thank you for that. So please call the roll. Council members Hagman?
Yes.
Dardia?
Yes.
Domagala?
Abstain.
Saunders?
Yes.
Armento?
Yes.
Contract?
Yes.
Healy?
Yes.
Mayor Brindle? Yes, this motion is carried. Councilman Healy, please move the Public Works Committee resolutions.
I told you I'm out of breath, but I'm going to go
They're
ahead.
short.
Two resolutions, one awarding professional engineering services and the other for rejecting our initial request for proposals on marketing and recyclable materials. We'll go back to that in the coming year.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Contract. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion has carried. So now, we have some final acts, and it is what we call committee as a whole, some resolutions that we introduce. And this is the recognition of the outgoing council members, and me too, I guess. So we are going to do these one by one, and we're going to begin with Councilwoman Hapgood, and we have some resolutions to read in the public record. So join me up front there. Yes. Okay. You ready? So whereas Linda Hapgood has faithfully served the town of Westfield as councilwoman representing the 1st Ward from January 2018 to December 2025. And whereas throughout her tenure on the town council, Councilwoman Hapgood has demonstrated unwavering leadership, integrity, and a steadfast dedication to advancing the best interest of our community. And whereas, during her terms of office on the town council, Councilwoman Hapgood served as acting mayor in many years, alternate acting mayor, council liaison to the planning board, the Special Improvement District Board, the Historic Preservation Commission, the Mental Health Council, the Human Relations Advisory Commission, the Westfield Senior Housing Corporation, the Memorial Library Board, the Investment Advisory Council, and the Public Arts Commission. She's done it all. And whereas Councilwoman Hapgood faithfully served as a member of the Finance Policy Committee, I'd say you did more than faithfully served, faithfully led, the Public Safety, Transportation, and Parking Committee, and the Code Review and Town Property Committee. And whereas, in addition to that service, Councilman Hapgood brought vision and leadership to her roles as chair of the Finance Policy Committee for her entire tenure, and vice chair of the Public Safety, Transportation, and Committee Parking Committee these last year. And whereas, as chair of the Finance Policy Committee, she worked to ease the tax burden by introducing new revenue streams into 8 consecutive municipal budgets, championing 3 flat tax years, keeping overall tax growth below the cumulative rate of inflation, securing a long overdue settlement with Westfield Senior Housing that returned over $3 million to the town, and helping structure the One Westfield Place redevelopment agreements that will generate $165 million in pilot revenue over 30 years, along with $40 million in public benefits paid for by the redeveloper. And whereas she strengthened community services and well-being through her leadership in launching the Westfield Mental Health Council, championing the values of CAKE, compassion, acceptance, kindness, and empathy, supporting local businesses during the COVID pandemic through the We Love Local campaign, which raised $300,000, and advancing historic preservation measures to protect Westfield's architectural heritage. And whereas she championed accountability and long-term resilience by establishing annual public budget review meetings for the first time, engaging residents through the creation of the Investment Advisory Council, and co-chairing the Westfield Infrastructure Resilience Committee to improve storm protection through updated land use practices, preventative maintenance, and key investments in machinery and tools. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Shelley Brindle, on behalf of the Town Council and the residents of the Town of Westfield, do hereby extend our heartfelt thanks to Councilwoman Linda Hapgood for her years of exemplary service, friendship, and commitment to public life, and wish her continued success and happiness in all that lies ahead.
some prepared remarks, because I'm not sure I can do this off the cuff. I just want to say that this is a bittersweet moment. So many people to thank and to recognize the support and care of this community has been unyielding and overwhelming for the past 8 years, and certainly right up to tonight. Thank you to so many of you for coming and for making so many meaningful and special remarks at the mic. It's really been an incredible honor to serve all of you for all of these years in all the different capacities. So it's hard, it's interesting to see that whole list. I'd also like to note a few things, a few accomplishments that I'm most proud of. Some of them were noted in the resolution, but first I really want to emphasize that none of the accomplishments that I am proud of would have been possible without so many people participating in them, people who are up here on the dais, people who work in town hall, and people across the community. I really am proud of the fiscal stewardship. My greatest commitment to this community was my pledge to be a stalwart, of course, but also a creative fiscal steward. And as your 8-year head of the Finance Policy Committee, I'm really so proud of our results. Under my watch, in 9 budgets, because in COVID we had to do 2, right, Jim? The tax rate was never raised just because we could raise the tax rate. We put your hard-earned taxpayer dollars to work efficiently and effectively. This means that we use the surplus to invest back in the things you cared most about while maintaining our AAA bond rating and delivering tax rates that fell well below the rate of inflation each year. As you heard a couple of times tonight, we even had 3 years where we had flat tax rates. Despite plenty of headwinds, most of them delivered by storms and COVID. My work leading the Finance Policy Committee also meant heavy involvement in negotiating the very first redevelopment projects that we had here in Westfield, Westfield Crossing and 1 Westfield Place. These projects have been applauded and awarded, but most importantly, they will deliver meaningful revenue into the budgets over the next 20 years. $170.5 million of total expected pilot payments and $4.9 million in public investments from those developers are coming soon. And you're seeing some coming out of Westfield Crossing already. And that means that people can more affordably stay in Westfield. And I'm looking at Vic and Drew, who I'm not sure are here tonight. But perhaps we'll even have a year in the future where we can get a drop in tax rates. I'm looking at you too, Jim. I'll be back in this room for that, okay? Second, I'm very pleased with my contributions to advancing our quality of life in Westfield. So much of what I do here in town, as you guys know, and in my professional career, is all about quantitative stuff. But the qualitative opportunities have really been such a pleasure. The chance to help found the Westfield Mental Health Council and coalesce our community in a real commitment to being stigma-free, to be a part of changing our legislation to protect the history in Westfield from individual homes to parks, and to most recently the Washington Rochambeau Revolutionary Trail. And then to serve most recently on the Public Arts Commission to bring an increasing amount of art and beauty to this and significance to our downtown. There's so many other things. Hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to all of you about the ways that you contributed to them. But I'm very pleased to be handing the baton to such an amazing group of new servant leaders who I know will keep working on all these things in this community that we've achieved over the 8 years, and a lot of new great things too. So Jeremy and Reshma, Vic, Jen, Drew, Mike, David, it will be fun to see you guys keep taking things to new heights. and we're never more than a few blocks away. And on to the thank yous. To my more than esteemed OG council members, Mike, David, Dawn, and Shelley, 8 years has certainly flown. And we've had a lot of fun, despite all of the things that we've put on the books. We've set our bar really high, and I feel like we really have achieved our mandate, maybe more than we even thought we could have at the beginning. And I hope that I have the chance to work with each of you again in the future. I also want to, most importantly, recognize my family, who doesn't get much credit for their role in my ability to serve on this council. My husband, Gary, who's here with us, who almost never said no. and that's a big accomplishment. To my mom, Sue, whose 85th birthday is tonight. My mom is was really my inspiration to run in the first place, and the best canvasser and campaign volunteer that anyone could ever ask for. My son Andrew, who also is here tonight for his very first council meeting. He was only a sophomore in high school when I decided to run, but he has always been my biggest and most unflinching supporter. And to my son Philip, who unfortunately couldn't be here, who stepped up at age 18 to be my campaign manager, and along with Grace Brindle, they recruited and trained and managed a team of more than 50 interns to supported our first campaign run. Phil set the bar high every step of the way, and to all of you, I love you very much. So my last bit is a ferocious call to this incredible community. It's a call to action, to get involved more next year than you were involved this year, and more the year after that. I can say from personal experience that you will never, ever regret it. All hope and new beginnings are local. Thank you.
Well, I'm personally incredibly grateful for Linda, which you may not know the story. I recruited Linda to run for office in the parking lot after a Pilates class. And we knew each other kind of from socially, from Washington School, but not really, because she was a working mom, I was a working mom. And all you guys know, Linda is the busiest person you know. So when I mentioned her in the parking lot, I thought there's no way in hell that Gary or Linda's gonna come back with a yes. And when she called back and said she was all in, it was the best ever, and the most fortunate thing for the town, honestly, Linda, and every single taxpayer is grateful to you for it. So incredible gratitude and love. Thank you. Okay, Mike Dardia. Ready, Mike? Okay. Mike Dardia has faithfully served the town of Westfield as councilman representing the 2nd Ward from January 2018 to December 2025. And whereas throughout his tenure on the town council, Councilman Mike Dardia has demonstrated unwavering leadership, integrity, and a steadfast dedication to advancing the best interests of our community. And whereas during his terms of office on the town council, Councilman Dardia served as alternate acting mayor, council liaison to the planning board, Board of Health, Recreation Commission, the Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety Board, the Access Inclusivity Council, and to the Board of Education. And whereas Councilman Dardia faithfully served as the member of the Public Safety Committee for his entire tenure, the Public Works Committee, and the Code Review and Town Property Committee. And whereas, in addition to that service, Councilman Dardia brought vision and leadership to his role as chair of the Public Safety Committee in 2018 to 21, and then again the last 2 years. Vice chair of the Public Safety Committee in between, and vice chair of the Public Works Committee this past year. And whereas during his 8 years of service on the town council, Councilman Dardia consistently advanced public safety and strengthened the overall well-being of Westfield residents. And whereas he supported key initiatives within the police department, including the hiring of a new chief who prioritized community policing, the introduction of body-worn cameras, the establishment of a police chaplain program, and expanded use of license plate reader technology, efforts that contributed to a notable reduction in car thefts and enhanced quality of life. And whereas he championed improvements across public safety operations, including the town's partnership with ACMS Crossing Guard Company to optimize guard coverage and free police resources, as well as the restoration of full staffing on the Westfield Fire Department for the first time in 17 years. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Shelley Brindle, on behalf of the Town Council and the residents of the town of Westfield, do hereby extend our heartfelt thanks to Councilman Michael Dardia for his years of exemplary service, friendship, and commitment to public life, and wish him continued success and happiness in all that lies ahead.
All right, thank you. I, too, have some prepared remarks. So I'll sit here. All right, so dear neighbors and friends, colleagues, and members of the incredible Westfield Town Administration, before I get to thanking all the amazing people I've worked with in the last 8 years, I want to start with the beginning. A phone call from a friend in 2017 that went something like this. Hey, Mike, will you run for town council? And oh, by the way, you need to make a decision quick because you only have 2 weeks before the deadline to get your name on the ballot. Just as well, if I had more time, I would have bailed. So I jumped in, campaigned my ass off, won the election, and my life changed. But not quite in the way you have a child, but more like in the way you suddenly have 30,000 children. You know what I mean? Well, maybe you don't. But how did this happen? It takes a village, right, guys? Well, it's more of a team. A team of folks whose only agenda was to help and see me succeed. This team included a phenomenal group of volunteers. And I'm going to list a lot of folks here, so hang in here. That list includes Pam Brugge, Amy Kovar, Janice Brick, Mary Bowman, Ben Nana, Rupa Matwani, Carl Salisbury, Liz Mulholland, Janice Siegel, Sharon Stockwell, Sandra Alfano, Carol Kars, Mallory Saltzman, Zal Williams, Nikki McCullough, and Anita Brown. So, damn, maybe this did feel like more of a village. But some helped in a big way, and others in a small, yet meaningful way for both of my campaigns. The biggest help, of course, came from my wife, Meredith, who insisted on firing our first campaign manager and taking over the role herself. Smartest move I ever made after marrying her. I also want to express my deepest gratitude to Mayor Shelley Brindle and my fellow council members, especially those on the Westfield Together team, Linda Habgood, David Contract, and Dawn Mackey. They've all been like family to me. Together we learned, campaigned, governed, and most importantly, got good things done for the residents that we served. I'm also profoundly grateful to Jim Gilday, our town administrator, Police Chief Christopher Badaloro, Fire Chief Michael Delks, and DP Director Craig Gibson. Their leadership and dedication to public safety and community service is extraordinary, and I've been privileged to learn from them. They are the true heroes of Westfield. And to Kim Ford, Heather Ray, Maureen Lawshie, Megan Avalone, Tom Jardine, Scott Olson, and Don Samet. Your work so often happens behind the scenes, but it is indispensable. You are the quiet force that keeps Westfield moving forward, and I am endlessly grateful. To the residents of Westfield, thank you for your passion, your engagement, and countless contributions. Your voices have directly shaped improvements in traffic, bicycle, and pedestrian safety across town, making Westfield better for everyone. And finally, to my wife and 2 sons, Meredith, Theo, and Beckett. Thank you for your unwavering support. Public service is never done alone. And every hour I spent serving this community was only possible because of your encouragement, patience, and love. Since 2003, Westfield has been our home, the place where Meredith and I raised our sons, built lifelong friendships, and became a part of the community we truly love. Serving this town has been one of the greatest honors of my life. I will always treasure the trust that you placed in me to advocate for Ward 2, work alongside my fellow council members, and contribute to shaping the future of this remarkable community. While I'll be ending my term, my admiration for Westfield and its people will never fade. I will always be cheering for this town, confident that its leadership and its residents will continue to carry forward the values, vision, and spirit that make Westfield so special. Thank you so much for allowing me the privilege of serving you. It has been one of the greatest joys of my life.
For those of you that know Mike, most of you do, those who've worked with Mike, you will not find anyone more earnest, more honest, and just more calm in everything that he does, and just so impassioned, specifically around public safety. So you have left quite a legacy here, Mike. Thank you so much. All right, Councilman Contract. It's your turn. All right. Whereas David Contract has faithfully served the town of Westfield as councilman representing the 3rd Ward from January 2018 to December 2025. And whereas throughout his tenure on the town council, Councilman David Contract has demonstrated unwavering leadership, integrity, and a steadfast dedication to advancing the best interests of our community. And whereas during his terms of office on the town council, Councilman Contract served as council liaison to the Westfield Green Team for his entire tenure. Senior Advisory Council, Lifelong Westfield, also for 8 years. Yeah. The Investment Advisory Council for 6, and the Board of Education. Whereas Councilman Contract faithfully served as a member of the Finance Policy Committee multiple years, the Public Works Committee, the Code Review and Town Property Committee, and the Public Safety Committee. And whereas, in addition to that service, Councilman Contract brought vision and leadership to his roles as Chair of the Public Works Committee, Chair of the Code Review and Town Property Committee, Vice Chair of the Finance Committee, and Vice Chair of the Code Review and Town Property Committee. And whereas, during his 8 years of service, Councilman Contract provided steady and thoughtful leadership across multiple areas of town governance, including strong fiscal oversight as co-chair of the Finance Committee, helping achieve 8 years of responsible budgeting with an average annual municipal tax increase of just 1.3%, while continuing to invest meaningful in services, equipment, and long-term priorities. And whereas, as chair of the Public Works Committee for 5 years, he advanced major improvements in public works operations, including overhauling the town's paving strategy to enable all of Westfield's roads to be paved, for the 8 years through next year, strengthening leaf collection, snow plowing, communication and practices, and transforming the Conservation Center into one of New Jersey's leading facilities through the launch of 10 new recycling programs. And whereas he modernized town policies and supported key community initiatives through his leadership as chair of the Code Review and Town Property Committee, overseeing ordinances that expanded access to solar energy and improved stormwater oversight, as we did tonight. And through his 8 years as liaison to the Green Team and Lifelong Westfield, helping us reestablish and grow both groups into influential partners that advance sustainability and support seniors in aging successfully in place. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Shelley Brindle, on behalf of the Town Council and the residents of the town of Westfield, do hereby extend our heartfelt thanks to Councilman David Contract for his years of exemplary service, friendship, and commitment to public life, and wish him continued success and happiness in all that lies ahead. Congratulations.
It's a little strange to be standing here and not sitting there, to be honest with you. It's really hard to believe tonight is it, our last council meeting. Wow, 8 years has gone by really quickly. And as my other fellow council people have said, this has been an unbelievable experience, one that I never really would have fully imagined when I first decided to run. Many of you may not remember why I ran, but Linda, your comment about this ferocious call to action actually reminds me of why I ran in the first place, and maybe that'll inspire somebody else to run in the future. But back in 2016, I guess it was in 2015 actually, we were sitting at a cafe, my kids and I, and somebody was smoking, and the smoke was wafting in our face as we sat at dinner, and I was like, you know, this isn't right. Can't smoke at the pool, you can't smoke in the parks. Why do we allow this in our restaurants downtown, outdoors? So I actually reached out to Councilman Lagrippo, who was I did know who that was, but I didn't know who his counterpart was, who I ended up taking on the following year or 2 years later. And I said, you know what, I'd love to do something about it. He said, come to a council meeting. Jim may or may not remember this, but I came to a 7 o'clock meeting. I had about a 10-minute slot to describe the dangers of secondhand smoking, the inconsistency with town practices, and how this town should do something about it. It did take well over a year for the town to do something about it, but November 1st of 2016, an ordinance was passed on first reading that banned smoking in our downtown cafes within 50 feet of an entrance. I was like, wow, that's amazing what somebody can actually get done, right, to move a town forward. And that was really the rallying cry to me and my family to, hey, maybe I should get involved. And God, look at where we are now, right, 8 years later. So hopefully those listening, maybe that will be your encouragement to step up beyond what you've already done, because it's really an unbelievably rewarding experience. And honestly, I have only the residents of Ward 3 to thank. You've put me in office for 8 years, and I'm so appreciative, and hopefully I've delivered on what you asked for. So when I think about delivery, without going into details, I actually went back to my first campaign flyer. Black and white, save money. Campaign didn't have a lot of money back then. I designed it myself, could use a little bit of work. And it said, David Contract for Town Council Ward 3, are you tired of too many potholes, too much speeding, and too many vacant storefronts? I promise to bring fresh ideas and a proactive approach to government. And my fellow council members they used to mock me for my phrase, fresh ideas and a proactive approach. But I'm proud to say we've delivered on all of these. Seriously. So pave more of our roads. How many are going to be paved by the end of next year? 100%. That's unbelievable. And we have Dawn to thank, plus the whole council, but I think 50-some-odd% of that's being paid for by utilities, saving taxpayers millions of dollars. Make our streets safer? We definitely have. Jeremy, still more work to do, but we've made progress. Re-energize the downtown, we talked about this so many times. That was one of the reasons why we ran in the first place. The vacancy rate was skyrocketing back then. Not so much anymore. Thanks to our efforts, One Westwood Place and what's to come. Make our government more efficient. As was mentioned tonight, there was no call for volunteers. There were no emails that went out. In fact, if you weren't kind of part of the inner circle, you really weren't involved. This is actually one area I do want to sort of tout one thing that I brought to the council besides, I think it was the first councilman not to wear a tie. So I have made the council a little bit more casual. Now, Councilman Domagalo is taking it one step further, shedding the suit jacket. We'll see if sandals and shorts come into vogue next year.
A little bit at a time.
What's that?
A little bit at a time.
A little bit at a time, exactly. So I did promise voters, it's actually here. It said foster a two-way dialogue. So what I ended up doing was sending out a summary, an email summary after every council meeting. And then during COVID, I went a little crazy, and I sent out an email virtually every night. So I did just check, because I sent out an email after the last council meeting. That was my 1,046th email. So I don't know if I'll get an email out tonight, maybe tomorrow, but that'll be 1,047, and I'll probably call it quits. So I'm really proud of what we've accomplished together, what I've accomplished, but I did want to highlight two things that I don't think have gotten enough highlight, it's the advisory committees. I've actually been involved with the Green Team and with Lifelong Westfield for my 8 years here, and I'm really proud of what these groups have done, and I want to just highlight a few things. So let's start with Lifelong, because Brad Chenini's here, and he helped us create this. And now it's part of the fabric of Westfield, and it's not going away, and it shouldn't. But there's one aspect of Lifelong Westfield that I don't think most residents know. During COVID, Brad had the idea of we should call our seniors. We should check in with them and make sure they're okay when we're all stuck at home. What started as his own personal passion project has now evolved into, 5 years later, calling well over 100 seniors every week by 5 or 6 members of Lifelong. And Brad always talks about how some of these seniors look forward to this call. And if the call doesn't happen, they're upset. That shows you the impact that it has. And I think that just speaks volumes about what our resident volunteers have accomplished in this town, right? We can talk about fiscal management, and we can talk about, vacancy rates and things like that. But let's talk about the personal impact that each of us, or in this case, these callers, are having with probably some of the most vulnerable people in our town. So Brad, thank you for your leadership on this. It's really incredible what you've done, what Lifelong has done, and I really hope it continues and just keeps blossoming. So a big round of applause. I also just want to highlight the Green Team. This is really hard to believe, but when I joined the dais, there was a sitting council member who really thought climate change was a hoax, right? Probably all remember that. He also thought that when we announced the first roster of the Green Team, and I think there were about 30 people, which I will say that Shelley and Linda were like, it's a little big. But I'm like, that just shows the interest. And this same councilman was like, that is an example of big government. And I was like, but they're volunteers. It's free. We've come a long way from there. We've earned silver certification by Sustainable Jersey for 7 years in a row. There's only about 50 or 60 towns, about 10% of the state has earned that. And I really believe that people look at Westfield now as a leader in sustainability and not actually inactive on sustainability. And again, I think that's an example of kind of leaving an indelible mark on this town. Somebody mentioned the free market. My hope is that continues, like Adams Fest, because these are events and programs that people look forward to now every year. These two groups only are successful as their volunteers and their co-chairs. So I think we owe them all a big round of applause. Let me just mention a few folks. So on the green team, Lois Krause, David Siegler, Walter Korfmacher, and Tim Van Epp, they have been the current or past co-chairs that have really helped the green team be successful. And Brad, as I mentioned, and Deirdre, Jolene, have really helped make lifelong what it is. So let me wrap up because this is taking too long. As the other council folks have said, we're only as good as the town, staff, and administration. We have the best in class town staff, town employees, bar none in the state. Some of them are here tonight and their names have been recognized, but it goes deeper than them. It's the department heads and it's the frontline workers too. They really put their all into running this town and helping us be successful, and we have them to thank for our success, so thank you. I know I probably, when I first joined, was an overeager councilman, and maybe I still am, but I think that's just in my nature. But we really are blessed with an incredible administration, and we can't say that enough. Lastly, I was hoping my kids would come tonight, but you know, they're busy. And Linda, you're lucky your son came to one council meeting because I'm 0. I am 0 for 3. So, but I do want to thank my family for putting up with all the hours, the emails, the phone calls, the meetings, the impromptu discussions anywhere around town. I used to always joke that, you know, as a council person, you're open for business all the time, whenever you leave your house, and that is true. I do want to thank the voters and residents of Ward 3. You know, you put me here, and I hope I've delivered and what you were looking for. And lastly, to Jeremy, to Jen, who's, I think, is Jen still here? Jen's here. And to Reshma, to Vic, and Drew. Guys, good luck. To Todd and to David, who's here. You guys keep the progress going. I think what I'm most proud of is that this town was really stalling when we joined, and it is moving forward now. And there is no doubt in my mind that collectively, you can keep this town going. It'll be continuing the initiatives we started, and it'll be bringing the new initiatives that you bring to the table. And that's what I'm really excited by. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart, guys. It's been an unbelievable journey and ride together. And I look forward to what is to come. Bye.
I actually think Councilman Healy said it best at the last meeting about David. What did you call him? Not irrepressible, but persistent. Like, you do not tell David no. And if it's no, he will find 10 other ways to get you to yes. And he just wears you down in the best possible way, because I think at the end of the day, he's got a lot of wins, and the town has a lot of wins because of his persistence. So, very grateful for you, David, for sure. Okay, Councilman Healy. Is this your second proclamation or resolution? Did you get one the first time?
It was so long ago, I don't remember.
So, Councilman Jim Healy, here, Kate, who blessed us with a return trip to fill out a term. So, Councilman Jim Healy, whereas Jim Healy has faithfully served the town of Westfield as councilman representing the 4th Ward, completing an unexpired term on the council from September 24 to December 2025. And whereas this term reflects the same long-standing commitment he demonstrated during his earlier tenure on the town council from 1985 to 1997. And whereas during this term of office, Councilman Healy served as council liaison to the Public Arts Commission, Human Relations Advisory Commission, and the Westfield Senior Housing Corporation. And whereas Councilman Healy faithfully served as the member of the Code Review and Town Property Committee and the Public Works Committees. And whereas, in addition to that service, Councilman Healy brought vision and leadership to his role as chair of the Public Works Committee and vice chair of the Code Review and Town Property Committee, as well as chair of the Westfield Affordable Housing Committee. And whereas, in response to the 2024 New Jersey Fair Housing Act, Councilman Healy was appointed to chair the new Westfield Affordable Housing Committee, which, working closely with the town planning staff, produced a unanimous bipartisan plan that provides for appropriate multifamily, including affordable housing along the railroad corridor and in the central business district, while preserving all existing single-family zones. And whereas Westfield's plan is now poised to be among the first in New Jersey to receive court approval under the 2024 Fair Housing Act, positioning the town to maintain strong local control over land use planning for the next decade and protecting Westfield from builders' remedy lawsuits. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Shelley Brindle, on behalf of the Town Council and the residents of the town of Westfield, do hereby extend our heartfelt thanks to Councilman Jim Healy for his years of exemplary service, friendship, and steady commitment to public life, and wish him continued success and happiness in all that lies ahead. Thank you so much.
To quote Jackson Brown, the words have all been spoken. And so I'm going to be super brief. I've got to say this. Shelley Brindle, whom I saw in a photograph with sunglasses, I think it was next to Jeremy Berman with sunglasses. It looked like it was film noir. And actually, there were people that told me, you know, Shelley's not that popular. Shelley Brindle, you are the most global, I'll say one of the few most globally talented humans, man or woman, that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. And I do not want to dilute that remark any further. Thank you very much.
I think I'm so flabbergasted by his brevity. I don't even know how to respond to that, but thank you. And I have a few words in a minute about your service here, but it really, when Dawn stepped down, and Dawn was very worried about stepping down, and I said, no worries, Dawn, we got this. I know the perfect guy. And knowing the consequential legislation that we are embarking upon this year, there is nobody better suited than Jim Healy to come and help shepherd it through. So incredibly grateful for you coming out and helping us do that. So can we just go now? Oh, no, it's late. I think there were drinks involved. Okay.
So now, in my capacity as acting mayor, I get to read the mayor's resolution. So come over here. No. There is so much here. And everyone wants to hear it. And I don't think anyone wants to leave yet. Whereas Shelley Brindle has faithfully served the town of Westfield for 8 years, after being sworn in on January 1st, 2018 as the town's first female mayor, and was subsequently re-elected in 2021, marking a historic milestone in municipal leadership, not to mention her commitment to be a full-time mayor. Whereas Mayor Brindle's devotion to community, inclusion, innovation, collaboration, and transparent governance provided the foundation for her dedicated service to the residents of Westfield. And whereas Mayor Brindle volunteered her time and talents to serve as a full-time mayor throughout her tenure, demonstrating unwavering commitment to protecting and enhancing the quality of life in Westfield. And whereas Mayor Brindle spearheaded a robust, input-driven, and forward-looking planning process through the town's master plan re-examination, strategic parks plan, bike and pedestrian plan, and land use and circulation plan, all resulting in a smart growth strategy that included the adoption of the award-winning One Westfield Place redevelopment plan which is anticipated to deliver $165 million in pilot revenue over 30 years and $40 million in public improvements to benefit generations to come. And whereas Mayor Brindle prioritized responsible and forward-thinking fulfillment of Westfield's affordable housing obligations, implementing the town's third round affordable housing plan and adopting the fourth round plan as one of the first municipalities in New Jersey to do so, proudly establishing Westfield as a model for compliance and committed to addressing the housing crisis, reflected in the additional approval of 22 housing units for at-risk veterans. And whereas under her leadership, the town implemented policies and practices that resulted in historic achievements, including the lowest average tax increase, the highest municipal budget surplus, the highest staffing levels in the police and fire departments, the most historically designated properties, and the most miles of paved roads in town history. Whereas Mayor Brindle guided Westfield through the unprecedented global COVID-19 pandemic, which claimed the lives of 66 residents, making difficult but essential decisions to safeguard public health, transitioning town operations to virtual services, leading the We Love Local campaign that raised over $300,000 for local businesses, establishing Open Quimby, and providing more than 200 comprehensive written updates to keep the community informed. And whereas Mayor Brindle made inclusivity and belonging cornerstones of her administration by establishing the Mental Health Commission, Lifelong Westfield, and the Human Relations Advisory Commission, renovating town playgrounds to make them inclusive for all abilities, raising the pride flag for this first time in the history of the town, and implementing rainbow crosswalks as visible symbols of welcoming acceptance. And whereas Mayor Brindle consistently championed community connection, the arts, and civic pride by establishing the Public Arts Commission to beautify public spaces, initiating the now beloved annual Adams Fest celebration, honoring Westfield native Charles Adams, championing the transformation of the historic Rialto Theater into an arts center, and commemorating the town's 300th anniversary in 2020 through the Westfield 300 initiative. And whereas during her tenure, Mayor Brindle oversaw a wide range of actions and policies that will have an enduring positive impact on Westfield, including welcoming more than 120 new businesses, investing heavily in public safety, advancing sustainability initiatives that positioned Westfield as a statewide environmental leader, improved parks and expanded recreation opportunities by introducing the Westfield skating rink, investing in Brightwood Park, numerous playground renovations, and forthcoming upgrades to the Sid Fay Houlihan Fields, strengthening the town's commitment to historic preservation, delivering innovation solutions in liquor license utilization to improve downtown vitality, upgrading infrastructure and stormwater resilience, modernizing municipal communications and technology, and co-founding the Raritan Valley Mayor's Alliance to advocate for equitable rail service and regional transportation improvements. And whereas in consideration of her efforts, energy, devotion, integrity, innovation, and the long-lasting progress made under her leadership, the Town Council wishes to honor and thank Mayor Shelley Brindle. Now, now therefore, be it resolved that on this 9th day of December, 2025, the Town Council, on behalf of the citizens of the town of Westfield, offers its collective and most heartfelt gratitude to Mayor Shelley Brindle for her absolutely extraordinary service to the community and expresses deep appreciation for all that she has accomplished during her tenure. Be it further resolved that the Town Council, on behalf of the entire Westfield community, wishes Mayor Brindle continued success and happiness in all her future endeavors.
I don't know, I'm exhausted after that. How about you? It's late, and Kim knows I was always sensitive to keeping you guys here too long, so, but I did have a few words, and yes, I did write them down, but I'll try to keep them brief, and my husband told me not to try to be amusing because I'm never funny, so Kip, forgive me. I do want to thank each of you for the honor of serving this extraordinary community. Together, as you've heard tonight, we've delivered unprecedented and historic progress. We modernized town government, strengthened safety, upgraded infrastructure, revitalized our downtown, preserved our history, celebrated the arts, protected our environment, and built a foundation that will benefit Westfield for decades. But the real story of these past 8 years isn't found in any list of accomplishments. It's in the people who made them possible: our municipal staff, our volunteers, engaged residents, and the council members I've served alongside. To my OG Westfield Together teammates, Linda, Mike, David, and Dawn, thank you for taking that leap with me in 2017. Again, Linda from the parking lot. When our election upset shocked everyone, including ourselves. We started as near strangers back then and ended as lifelong friends in the adventure. Honest disagreements, shared values, and now forever bound by the proud legacy we leave behind. Thank you, guys. Thank you to Councilman Jim Healy, as I mentioned, for coming out of retirement to finish Dawn's term and for helping shepherd some of our most consequential legislation. And of course, as we also saw tonight, for your trademark humor and historical commentary along the way. Thank you to the people who believed in me from the beginning. Many of you are here tonight, including those who stood outside with us on that 7-degree New Year's inauguration day, where the only thing we forgot was the Bible for the swearing in. Jim, I think we were sworn in on the code, town code, right? People were digging through the office looking for a thick-looking Bible. So, Banana, I think you had something to do with that. No. Your unwavering support, including being here tonight, means everything. To the residents who reached out with notes of encouragement, often at exactly the right moment, you provided me with the confidence to stay the course. It reminded me that the loudest voices aren't always the most representative. And to my critics, and I have a few, thank you. And I mean it sincerely, truly. You sharpened my thinking and made us work harder to deliver better outcomes. Over these 8 years, me with my office down the hall, and as a full-time mayor, I've had a rare peek behind the curtain. I've seen the private struggles that our residents carry and the extraordinary unseen acts of kindness from our staff in response. Their compassion and humanity have inspired me daily. I've also had a front row seat to the daily Parks and Rec episodes at Town Hall. The front counter alone deserves its own docuseries. I've been heckled at a meeting by someone in a full Grinch costume, had my face pasted onto Godzilla for a protest sign, that is a family favorite, and witnessed memorable council commenters who brought props, signs, and sound effects. Though none will ever top the night we debated banning puppy mill sales, and everyone brought their pets to the mic. For Town Administrator Jim Gilday, not exactly a dog guy, that meeting was an early warning of what was coming when my 4 rescue dogs became regular office visitors. But Jim adapts. It's his superpower. It's no surprise he surrounds himself with the most capable, badass women in Town Hall. Heather A. Ferrati, Maureen Lawshe, Ellen O'Donnell, and Kim Ford. Occasionally, I've even been invited to join his Charlie Angels squad. Now, I could talk forever about Jim's leadership, integrity, and unwavering 24/7 commitment to Westfield. But mostly, I'm just grateful for his friendship and will miss our daily interactions. Even if, in classic Jim fashion, he insisted everything is no big deal. For the record, if Jim ever says something is a big deal, Westfield should declare a state of emergency. To Heather, wherever you are, thank you for stepping up time and again with cheer, professionalism, and heart. To Maureen, the calmest clerk in the state, thank you for your steady hand and tequila recommendations. To Kim, whose COVID communications became a statewide model, thank you for surviving the numerous media requests and my surprise social media posts, and for caring so deeply about protecting this town and me. And I leaned into her anxiety by not allowing her to preview my remarks tonight. To Megan Avalone, small but mighty Megan Avalone, thank you for your fierce advocacy for public health, insistence on equity, and unwavering commitment to data and science. To Chief Chris Battleroyal, if you were leaving, I was leaving too, I just want you to know. Appointing you as chief was one of my best early decisions. Westfield is safer, and our department is revered and respected across the state because of your leadership. To Chief Michael Delks, your energy and ideas have revitalized the department, and the trust you've built shows in everything you do. To Craig Gibson, who's not here, but watching him grow into an exceptional leader has been a pleasure, and his impact and that of the DPW is seen all over town. To our town attorney, former mayor, and my dear friend, Tom Jardine, thank you for your wise counsel, steady presence, and yes, for keeping me out of jail. And lastly, to my family, my patient and wise husband, Kip, I think this is council meeting number 2 for him. And my kids, Grace, Nora, and Nick, who were in high school and middle school when I was first elected. Thank you for surviving the embarrassment of having your mom show up at school assemblies, the endless photo ops, and learning not to go anywhere with me publicly if you're in a hurry. You have become remarkable adults, and we are immensely proud of you. And to Kip, my fierce protector, just like the lineman he was. You should always marry a lineman. Thank you. I loved you. How am I doing so far, Kip? Okay. And finally, to the hundreds of girls who I've escorted through Town Hall. And when we stopped at the mayoral portraits hung in the hallway, they always asked, "Where are the girls?" Well, here she is. And I hope I am just the first of many. These 8 years have been quite a ride. COVID will remain one of the most profound chapters. The grief we carried in our solitude, and the unexpected joy we discovered in our solidarity. But when I look back over the 8 years, I will mostly remember the joy. The Westfield High School state champions, the weddings, the proclamations, the swearing-ins and promotions, the hundreds of ribbon cuttings, all the moments that show the beating heart of this town. As you've heard tonight, our job has simply been to be good stewards, to leave Westfield a little better than we found it, and I believe we have. I'm so proud of what we've done together, and I can't wait to see what's next for Westfield under a Berman administration. Kip and I will still be here, cheering from the sidelines, grateful to have been a small part of this town's story, and excited for the chapters still to come, with undying love and appreciation for this experience. Thank you all.
Shelley, sometimes it took a little magic. Thank you, Gary, for the show tonight. But really, thank you for always modeling where we should go. And thank you for the opportunity to watch and learn about all these things that we all kind of learned on the job. But it's been like the biggest privilege of my life to have the best boss I ever had. So